It's time for Windows Weekly, episode 223. Paul Thurrott is actually in our studio. This is so darn exciting. I can't wait to see his knees. Also here, Mary Jo Foley. We'll talk about the latest Windows news in just a moment.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT. Bandwidth for Windows Weekly is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com. This is Windows Weekly with Paul Thurrott and Mary Jo Foley, episode 223, recorded August 24th, 2011. Shave theme for sharing. Windows Weekly is brought to you by Go to Assist Express. Being in IT and not using the right tools can be disastrous. That's why you need Go to Assist Express, the leader in remote support. Try it free. Visit gotoassist.com/Windows. And by Squarespace.com, the fast and easy way to create a high-quality website or blog. For a free trial and 10% off your new account for 6 months, go to Squarespace.com and use the offer code Windows8. And by Audible.com. To download the free audiobook of your choice, visit audible.com/Windows. It's time for Windows Weekly. I'm so excited. We are doing this show in the new studio, but not only in the new studio, but for the first time in my office. And lo and behold, I didn't realize it, but all I have to do is push a button and Paul Thurrott just pops up. It's really remarkable. Bing. Hello, Paul. Bing. I like that choice of. Hello, Paul Thurrott, editor-in-chief of the SuperSite, winsupersite.com.
Every time I say that, Microsoft gets a buck.
Bing. What happens to the SuperSite for Windows?
When I'm not there.
When you're not there. I guess you could post from anywhere.
I have to blog like a madman at night, so.
He blogs again by night. Also joining us, Mary Jo Foley. She's still at home. Nice to see you again, MJ. Welcome to the show. All about Microsoft.com. She says she's this show. She's going to interrupt us. Because somebody's got to.
Repeatedly. I'm just going to keep talking over you.
Please do, because that's what we do to you.
Yes.
So it's only fair that you should do that to us.
It's not like we planned it. It's just that we are.
Oh, yeah, I plan it.
We're just selfish.
mess with Mary Jo week.
Yeah.
Anyway, good to have Mary Jo Foley, now a regular on the show. And I'm sorry that you couldn't come to our big party, Mary Jo, but next time. And you do have to come out here. Do you ever get? Well, you travel, and you'll be at the Build conference. So we'll build a mock-up of this studio at the Build conference. We will duplicate everything you see here.
We should do something live from the Build conference, don't you think?
I'm thinking we will. I'm thinking we'll bring our live view down, and instead of doing the conference, we'll do the bloggers.
The Build Bash, yeah.
The Build Bash, the Bloggers Bash.
Blogger Bash.
That you guys are throwing.
Yep.
And I want to kick in. In fact, don't leave without a check.
I won't.
I want to kick in.
That's the only reason I'm here.
I want to kick in a little bit to that fine party. When is that?
Yeah, I don't know. Mary Jo, do you remember?
Wednesday. It's a Wednesday of Build.
Okay, good.
Yes.
A lot of fun. So Paul was teasing me. I was saying this is August 24th, and he said, does that date ring a bell? It does ring a bell, but I cannot, for the life of me, place it. What is August 24th? That's today.
It is today.
Huh? It's Wednesday. Okay.
That doesn't actually change what the anniversary is. But
no, but what happened on this day?
This one's all Mary Jo, so.
Does Mary Jo know?
I do. In fact, you both were probably there with me as well 16 years ago in Redmond when they launched Windows 95 on August 24th. Yep.
I was actually not there. I was.
You weren't?
I was home finishing my Windows 95 book.
I wasn't in Redmond, but I was they had an event in San Jose as well. They had satellite events.
Okay.
And I did go to that big tent and lots of, the Rolling Stones were there. It was really exciting.
A basic party.
No, but they did play Start Me Up. Wow. It is 95 to 2000. What year is this? 11?
Yikes. Yep.
16 years, if my math does not fail me.
16 years.
It seems longer ago, doesn't it?
It
that
really
Windows 95
it
came
really
out.
does.
It seems like that kind of
26 years is what it seems like.
Yeah. What? Tell me, was Bill Gates at that big?
Today is another anniversary too, though. It's also the anniversary of the RTM of Windows XP. This exact same day, 10 years ago.
Wow. Now, I don't think they've had a launch anything like the Windows 95 launch.
Yeah.
Ever since.
Now these days they do them literally at a Krispy Kreme office in the corner of, Maine and.
They had a launch for 7, right? Sort of.
They
New
did,
York.
yeah.
That was the New
They
York
did.
thing that you guys went to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, but come on, that's not the same thing. When you invite the world to the Microsoft
That was
campus
big.
on the lawn, it's a big thing.
That was big. No, I wish I'd been able to go to Seattle. I do remember going as a cub reporter. I remember going
Here we
to
go.
it.
This is going to be some awesome analog story.
I was doing the
right
radio.
after World War II ended, I attended.
I brought my Morse code key and I telegraphed to the world. It has arrived. Windows 95. No, I was doing the radio show with John C. Dvorak at the time, and I think I did go, in fact, to that Start Me Up event. So they did that. They've done that from time to time. That big satellite events.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
All around.
Yep.
Wow, 16 years ago. We come a long way, actually, since Windows 95. You agree?
Well, it depends on how you look at it. From a user interface perspective, not really.
It looks very similar, doesn't it? Yeah.
That's true on the Mac side, too. I mean, these systems all look very similar.
Well, once you got something that works, you got a start
button.
button.
If you say so.
you got a recycle bin.
Yep.
You got a desktop. Why mess with perfection?
Success, yeah. All right, I guess we're done here. Let's ask Steven
16
Snofsky what he thinks about messing with
16.
success.
Paul showed me that he... No, I can't say that? No. It's top secret? No, won't say a word. Ixnay. So, item 2. Should we move along?
Well, I would just say this. Windows XP, when that launched, I suspect they intended to have a Windows 95 style launch for that product.
Right.
But, of course, 9/11 happened, and they launched it in the wake of 9/11. So it was more of a somber affair in New York City about a month later, about a month and a half after 9/11.
Pretty hard to celebrate.
Yeah, but I would have to think that in 2001, Microsoft's intention was to do something like that. For XP, because it was such a big deal. It was
Right.
the time that they were bringing together the two code bases and everything.
Right.
And then that never happened. And, of course, it's never really happened since.
Such a shame.
Although I would point to the Bill Nye the Science Guy appearing at the Millennium launch as also a huge event. So it's not like we haven't had parties.
Wait, wasn't the Millennium launch done in malls and
Yeah,
stuff?
it was a virtual event, yeah.
It was. I remember I went to a mall out on Long Island somewhere, and it was me and 5 people.
Yep. I did the same thing, not in New York, but northern Massachusetts. Yeah, it was nice. A pretty mall.
Nothing like...
I think I bought some shoes.
No, yeah, I was going to say nothing.
But they didn't have parties all over the country to celebrate the arrival of Windows 95 as they did with Windows 97. They sent me cocktail napkins. They sent me balloons. They sent me
Windows
playing
7, you
cards.
mean?
Windows 7.
Yes, the party package.
The party package. I had the party. It was so much fun.
I think we handed those out in New York, if I'm not mistaken, right? At the we had our own party in New York.
You did. I think you did. That was
We
a
had
good
a really
promotion.
good party. That was.
Yeah.
That was a great promotion.
Ice something.
That was our party.
What
We
was
did our
what was the
own
name of that bar? It was the Ice something, or wasn't it? Or Ice?
It was called Arctic Bar, and
Arctic
the mascot was a penguin, which
Yeah.
was very fitting for the Windows launch.
We molested that penguin, Leo.
I don't want to.
I'm not ashamed to say it.
It's okay. It's okay, Tux. He's not talking to you.
No, we picked that bar because they had 7 beers on tap.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
7 beers on tap. Mary Jo, you're coming across. I'm not going to say anything here, but
Drunkard.
Between the share pinters and this, are you a big beer lover?
I am, actually. I'm a craft beer lover, and that's
Look
my
at that.
next career, my friend. I'll be brewing.
Are you going to be a brewmaster?
I would love to, actually.
I think Paul seems like you also are a beer lover.
I am not a fan of alcohol.
Let's ask his wife.
Why did my kids just laugh?
I've brought Paul's family in to verify that. No, we do know that he likes Dunkin' Donuts. We do know that much. And Five Guys, apparently.
Yeah,
Burgers and fries.
sure.
One of the special treats
This
you
is
get
wholesome
here
Americana,
in the Bay Area.
really.
Yeah. Welcome, Paul. Just welcome. I couldn't, in the words of Apple, to IBM.
Welcome, seriously.
Welcome, seriously. Welcome.
Okay.
HP webOS. We're now starting to get some information that says that webOS isn't exactly I'm not dead yet.
Not just that, but also the PC business, right? The
Yeah,
story.
HP miscommunicated horribly.
This was horribly mishandled. The story is webOS is dead, and HP is going to sell off or spin off its PC's business. And actually, the truth is webOS is not dead. What's dead are HP's webOS devices.
They should have said, we're not going to make hardware anymore, but we are going to license the OS.
Right. In fact, you could spin that as a positive. By opening this up to a partner ecosystem, there'll be more devices out there.
Instead, it came across like we're getting out of this business.
Yeah,
webOS
it's
is
a stink
gone.
bomb. Would you like to license it? It was just such a horrible.
terrible. I think that's such a mistake. So what it looks like they're going to do is what Microsoft does with Windows Phone 7.
Exactly.
They're going to seek manufacturers.
Yeah.
And they're going to offer them the OS.
This would have been a slightly easier pill to swallow if they had just left the devices in market, announced their intention, but say we're still going to bring out the ones that we have, and then we'll move on.
Hideous mismanagement.
Yeah.
You agree, Mary Jo?
Yes, because who is going to want to license it now? Like,
Yeah, no
we're killing
kidding.
all the devices, and we're going to work on it in the background, but we're not really committed to it, are we?
Yeah.
You have to overcome the impression that is absolutely global now that webOS is dead.
It's not strategic to us, but it might be good for you.
You might like it. You should give it a try. It's not such a bad thing.
Yeah, stupid. The other thing,
I mean, I think somebody would want to buy it maybe for the patents, or take it off HP's hands for the patents.
For the patents.
apparently that's not part of the plan. Although when no one licenses webOS, I suspect that's where they're going to head.
Now, you're saying also the PC business is...
Well, if you read what they said about that, what they said was
they're very equivocal. They didn't say anything.
Right. They said, we're going to evaluate this. And that what they really said, and I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but it was, we may sell or spin off all or some of our PC business. And my expectation actually is I wouldn't be surprised to see HP get rid of the consumer stuff, because that's really the market they want to get out of. But I could actually imagine them continuing to develop PCs for the corporate market, because that's really who buys that stuff.
And if they're going to be in the corporate services business...
Because it gives them that full portfolio.
Sure.
Right. I think today IBM licenses still the ThinkPads and the ThinkCenter machines from Lenovo as part of a full, ensemble of products and services that they can offer businesses. So,
well, this business isn't new for HP. They've been in a services company for a long time, selling their PA risk platforms, their mini computers, and you buy the consultancy, you buy the services. That would be a model that they understand.
Yeah, but apparently the model they don't understand is that communication. And I've just never seen anyone bungle such an important announcement, especially since they knew it was coming. They prepared for this. They had time to prepare, and this is how they did it.
Well, and then today there was a new little twist on this too. You know how last week we were talking and we said maybe Samsung would end up buying the PC business because there were all those rumors in March that they were thinking about doing that? Well, Samsung posted a 2-line response on their blog today that says, the recent rumors that Samsung Electronics will be taking over HP's personal computer business are not true. We hope this clarifies any confusion that may have occurred. That's it.
No, we don't want it.
What man would want you know, is what it said.
So, okay, who's going to buy it now? It's not going to be Samsung.
Well,
not going to be Lenovo.
And then the other rumor, which I loved, was that once HP divests itself of hardware, Larry Ellison will swoop in and buy the services business.
Yeah, because that guy hasn't been the kiss of death to every business he's ever purchased.
But remember, Mark Hurd works at Oracle, right?
That's a good point.
Mark Hurd went to Oracle. Larry Ellison was very dismissive of HP's handling of the firing and the hiring of Leo Apotheker.
Yes.
And I could, Larry seems to
like
operate through his emotions more than he does.
What you just said makes total sense.
Mark Hurd says, okay, I'll take it.
Well, Mark Hurd, of course, was the guy who orchestrated the Palm purchase.
Right.
I mean, his goal for the future of HP in the personal computing space was that they would have webOS on everything, on their computers, their printers, on handheld devices, phones, and so forth. And, of course, as soon as he was gone, this is what they've dismantled.
I think there's a moral for all of us here. I think we think of HP as this great company, just as we thought of Yahoo perhaps as a great company at one time.
Sure.
And it's easy to nothing's taken for granted. It's easy to mismanage yourself right into the grave. And it sure feels like HP is just bungling us.
To be fair to HP, I think they have a long future and they're going to be very well off. It's just that they're going to be like IBM.
Right.
And thus uninteresting to us.
Bye-bye, HP. We hardly knew ye.
And really, who cares about HP when it comes down to it? No, seriously, could you think of a more boring personal computer company than these guys? I mean, who cares?
I know.
By the way, somebody via email, I wish I had his name in front of me, but somebody emailed me and said, I actually have a pretty good idea for webOS's future, which was Amazon should buy it.
For the Kindle.
For everything.
For their new,
in other words, instead of using
Android. Because they're going to do Android tablets.
Well, here they are basically competing with Google, the company that makes Android. Instead of doing that, buy webOS. You know they're going to let it go for nothing.
Right, and throw a lot of resources into it.
Use that behind the Kindle. Use that behind your tablets. Put all of your stores and your commerce stuff on webOS. I actually think that makes plenty of sense.
I think it's likely that somebody has fielded that at Amazon.
You think this was not a unique
And then Jeff Bezos did his trademark bray.
Yeah.
And then moved on.
Well, I don't know, but he is an evil madman as well. And
he could do something so as unpredictable as that, unexpected as that.
I think that would be cool.
It would push back the whole launch, though, right? I mean, aren't they like right on the verge?
I think they're close. We're talking October, November, maybe.
You could, right? I see what you're saying. Right. So, compatibility on the Kindle device part doesn't matter. Right. But the argument would be on the, tablet, the pure tablet. You okay over there? Are we?
I'm sorry. I'm about to pass out with exhaustion. I'm enjoying this. You just don't normally see me yawn because I take the camera off of.
I'm sorry.
I yawn all the way through this show.
I'll try not to take that personally.
Your kids and your wife and kids are walking out too.
Thank you very much, sir.
The whole family's leaving. So, Paul, forget my yawn. Your family just left.
Yeah, that's my wife saying, "Screw you, Laporte."
Bye-bye. Hope you find a Dunkin' Donuts.
On the tablet side, on the non-Kindle tablet side, aside from the actual apps, which I would argue are only part of the whole ecosystem anyway, I mean, the other stuff still transfers over. When you buy TV shows, movies, etc., I mean, all that stuff will still work. So there would be an app issue, yes. But wasn't there some rumor that webOS was being... Well, maybe there wasn't. Wasn't there some kind of a cross?
They said that they were going to be able to run Android apps or something. No, that was the... that was the BlackBerry. Okay. That was the QNX.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. I still believe that webOS is a beautiful operating system that deserves a better future, and I would love to see Amazon would be the one company that can make that work.
It's the juju of operating systems.
It's the Amiga of operating systems.
Hey, did you see I have an Amiga in the basement?
I did.
We're going to set that up. You can come over here. You can do some programming.
You may not remember this, by the way, but you have a copy of Lotus Symphony out there for the Mac. That came from me.
I do have that.
That was for me.
I remember you said, no, I very well remember. That was from an Everything Must Go.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Nobody wanted it. I don't know why. It's beautiful.
And, it's jazz, right?
Jazz. I'm sorry.
Jazz,
did I say
symphony?
Yeah, not symphony.
Not only
this
that.
This is pre-symphony.
I have installed all 48
floppy exactly. Disks. Well, it comes in a beautiful binder with documentation.
Actually. That's kind of nice.
This is back when people used to do this stuff right.
Comes in rubber, a rubberized binder.
It's also a flotation device if this place ever goes down.
Yes. I wonder how many floppies, though.
There are several
Do
floppies.
you have a museum in the cottage, Leo?
He does.
We do.
Have one. Good.
We do.
There's a Commodore PET. There's a PS2 in here.
Yeah, we're going to have, and behind me, I've got the first netbook.
Yeah, actually, I'll tell you what. I have a Coleco Atom that would look awesome in here.
Love the Atom.
Mint condition.
We'd love the Atom. You see, I have the original Newton, the original iPod, the original iPhone.
Oh, by the way, I also have the original box from the original iPod, which is a cube.
Oh, I'd love to get that from you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's something I use.
So we're going to have, I think we're going to have a shelf, and we're going to have like little cards on everything.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Circa 1994.
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
Yep.
I like that. I don't see the floppies in here.
I think you have to dig deeper.
Well, it's all shrink wrapped.
No, under the.
What do they call that when you've got action figures?
Yes, in the original packaging.
In original packaging. That's what this is. Oh, you're right. I do have to dig deeper.
Yeah. No, it's a bottomless box, Leo.
It really is. There's quite a bit of stuff in here.
Yep.
Oh, look. Here's the labels.
See?
The labels for your floppy
Yellowed
disks.
with age, just like us.
Yeah, they're kind of falling off. I'll have to re-glue those. This is so pristine. Oh, look. Here's the floppies.
Yeah.
Look.
Wow.
Program disc.
Those were the days.
Disc, primer disc. Wow.
What did you call it? On the original Mac, when you only had the one drive, you used to do that floppy shuffle thing where it would now insert
painful.
disk 3, now insert disk 2.
So painful. You couldn't copy a file.
Yeah.
You'd have to do
or even saving a Word document file. It would require swapping out the
flopping a sloppy
the program and the data disk.
Oh, but look, it does come with a great floppy holder because they know that you'll be having a lot of data disks that comes with a special vinyl wallet. This is very nicely done. How much do you think that cost?
Oh, hundreds of dollars.
God. Wow.
But you can see where the software industry in general cheaped out. You know, when IBM's original PC came out, it had those big binders with the documentation in there. It was nice.
Yeah.
But of course, when you're trying to save costs,
right,
that's the first place. That's the first that goes.
Yep.
You know, that stuff.
Yeah. Well, now you don't even. There's no boxes at all.
Yeah. You get a PDF file and the DVD if you're lucky.
Bits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even when you buy ham radio gear now, you barely get a manual.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing. I'm sorry, Mary Jo, are we...
See what happens?
Say, just jump in anytime.
So the problem with Mary Jo is she's too polite.
According to Wikipedia and JW Photo in our chat room, Lotus Jazz was $595.
It doesn't surprise me.
Wow.
$400 of which was for the paper.
Yeah.
And then...
packaging.
Yeah.
Microsoft did put, what did they put, an ad saying webOS developers come to us? Come to us. We come to us. Join us.
Yes, Brandon Watson.
Why would
Brandon Watson.
Why would they
is
want them?
calling for all webOS developers to defect.
What would they want with them?
Well, hold on. They're developers. They're not, they're not the people responsible for the fiasco. They're people who write applications that run on webOS.
And I'm trying to remember, what was the webOS
development environment?
Yeah.
Well, it's HTML5 essentially.
Oh, okay. So
they
you would want them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They do JavaScript. They do CSS.
I was curious though, what kind of apps are there out there for webOS that aren't already on Windows Phone?
Well, there's a nice calculator.
Is there?
There's a stopwatch app, which is actually a dire need on Windows Phone.
Is this something missing from Windows Phone? A calculator and a stopwatch?
No, there is a calculator.
There's a clock.
There is a clock.
That was part of the problem with webOS. There were no apps at all.
It's
terrible.
It's not that. It's not specific apps we're looking for.
They're just looking for developers.
Warm bodies. Yeah.
They got a few responses though.
They got over 1,000.
They got 1,000.
Yeah.
That's
plus
incredible. Wow.
Every one of them, if I'm not mistaken. I think that.
Yeah. How many developers are there?
I want to say at HP's maybe only live event or whatever live event I saw some video of, I think there were 2,000 people in the audience. So it was probably pretty damn close to most of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Plus, they were offering them a free phone too, weren't they? Like free mangoes.
Well, but to be fair,
mangoes.
well, free hardware. But last year they did the same thing for Windows Phone for new developers for Windows Phone. So similar program. And I think a lot of people looking at this the wrong way a year later, saying, "Hey, what the heck? I developed for Windows Phone. How come I don't get a free phone?"
Right.
But the truth is, if you jumped on this platform right away, you could have gotten a free phone last summer. You could have had one.
I'm sorry, I'm yawning again.
I'm never coming here again. It's ruining the magic.
Hey, let's take a break. We're going to come back. Paul Thurrott is in studio. It's so nice to have you here, Paul. I appreciate it. See, I got these flowers just for you. What is this? What is this green thing growing out of the flower? Wait a minute. There's a Dunkin' Donuts cup there.
I wish.
It looks like it's part of the arrangement. It kind of matches. That's very nice. We're going to take a break. Mary Jo Foley is also here from her place in New York, New York. But right now, let's talk a little bit about our friends at... No, not them. No, not them. Yes, them. Go to Assist Express. Them. You see them? Actually, I want to tell you a little bit about a great product for people who are in IT or support or have to somehow keep track of and help people with their stuff, which really is probably all of us these days. I invite you to visit gotoassist.com/Windows to take a look at GoToAssist. This is a great product that makes remote support so easy. You can access, diagnose, resolve, and fix tech issues fast by reaching out and going into their computer, Windows or Mac, from Windows or Mac. And with one flat monthly rate, you get unlimited use, up to 8 sessions at the same time, unattended sessions. You can get a complete assay of what's on the system. You can share your screen with them, and they can share theirs with you, so you can see a problem. And the integrated live chat means that you can tell them what you're doing and what's going on as you fix their computer. It's kind of magic. There are many remote support solutions out there. I am well aware of that. I've tried them all. This is the one I use and recommend you try for free for 30 days. Go to assist.com/Windows. And we thank Citrix and the Go to Assist folks so much for their support for Windows Weekly. Go to assist.com/Windows. Paul Thurrott, Mary Jo Foley, Mango. You said the magic word. I wish I had a duck that could float down from the ceiling. More Mango news. What's the latest with Mango?
So this week, they opened the marketplace for Mango to developers to actually start getting their apps in the marketplace, which means we're getting closer.
Are the Mango apps different somehow from...
Prettier?
Yes.
How
They
are
are different.
So can I run existing Windows? Of course I can. Phone
Yes.
apps on Mango phones?
Yes, of course. And if you have right now, we're a Mango app to appear in the Windows Phone Marketplace, which is technically possible now. Yeah, obviously, that would not run on
It would not run.
previous versions of the OS, but it would run on there are probably thousands of people out there with prototypes or with
Well, I got my Samsung Focus.
that have Mango on it. It would run on those.
And at some point, I'm going to get pushed. Mango's going to get pushed to my Focus.
Yep.
So then I will be able to run those Mango apps. What's new in Mango apps? What else can we do with a Mango app?
Well, it's go ahead. I'm
Go ahead,
They'll
Mary.
let you do fast multitasking, right?
Oh, okay.
So they take better advantage of the live tiles, typically.
One
So
of-
you can see them updating on your screen.
That's one kind of regret I have with this. Is it seems like these live tiles should be more live.
Yeah. There's still,
Some are.
Yeah,
The
some
people
are.
tile is. It's great.
They still have a ways to go, though, don't they? I mean, it'd be kind of neat if there was some functionality of some way of interacting with it that didn't launch the app,
Right.
but provided a little bit more information right there on the tile.
I do. The Xbox Live, the little avatars jumping up and down.
That's a huge improvement and really worth the $99. He is in 3D, Leo.
He's in 3D.
No, I honestly, the biggest thing to me in Mango in many ways is going to be the ability for audio applications to take control of the system as they can on other platforms. So in other words, and also multitask, right? So if you were to use if an Audible app were to show up, and this would be the time because now you have those capabilities, it could play in the background while you're doing
I
other
get
things.
it. Oh, that's
And
huge.
integrate with the start screen and all that stuff. So
That was a big deal when Apple finally added that, and that was only a year ago.
yeah, so we're adding it now
That's fantastic.
in
Yeah,
7.5.
That's
yeah.
fantastic. The release candidate of Mango's SDK is available now, 7.1.
And this is the I forget what they call it, but the go-to-market license or whatever the term is.
Go live.
Go
Yep.
live license. So a developer can target this version of the SDK with a Mango app, and it could actually be published in the marketplace.
Cool.
Yep.
Cool. And Zune 4.8 is out.
Yeah, no big change there, but the version of Zune that you need for Windows Phone
Got
Mango.
it.
Yeah.
Got it,
Yep.
got it, got it.
Yep. And we're up to, as of right now, I believe, 30,000 Windows Phone 7 apps.
Yep.
Well, that's a pretty good number.
Yeah, let me see if I can
It
get
is
this.
a good number.
Yeah, and
Yep.
if I get the statistic right, they reached 30,000 faster than Android did for the same number and as fast as the iPhone did.
30,000 in what,
Whatever
less,
that,
less than a
11
year?
months or
Yeah.
10 months, yeah.
That's pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
Yep.
That
I
means
found a really cool app too, Leo, that you might like for Windows Phone 7. There's this app that has campus maps of the Redmond campus. So when you're sneaking around Microsoft, like some of us are want to do, you can find your way, and it has walking directions. It has even if you can steal someone's ID, which I'm not recommending, you could look at building maps inside the buildings.
Mary Jo's not above wearing a ghillie suit as she runs around the
I'm
Redmond.
impressed.
But she will not steal an ID.
Yeah. She's the
No.
ninja of Microsoft reporters. Wow. I'm very impressed.
So you might want that one on your phone.
I certainly do.
I also highly
I
recommend
can
the
just
Paul
dream.
Thurrott app.
You have an app?
I do.
Oh, that's right. We talked about that last week with
From Dimitri, the same guy that
the
did
SuperSite for
Twit app.
Windows.
That's
Yeah.
right.
He's given up on me.
No, he hasn't actually. He just released.
I
a new
just saw the
version.
update. I just downloaded the update for the TWiT app, which is fantastic. And my ATT Uverse mobile app.
Or as I call it, the first thing I delete when I install Windows Phone.
Yeah. Let's see. New Mango phones have been announced, or at least are making appearances somewhere.
Yes.
Tell me.
In Australia, actually.
Of all
At
places.
TechEd Australia, they showed a couple new Mango phones this week. They showed a new Acer phone, which I think people already knew about. I'm forgetting the obscure version number, M310 or something like that.
I'm too old to keep
also
track of that.
showed an Asus phone, which it was just an engineering prototype, but looks like it has a front-facing camera. So that's
Is that not?
interesting.
Do they not all have?
No, none of them do.
None of this doesn't
Not
have a
yet.
front-facing camera.
No.
That's a little bit of them.
It was a little judgmental there. With a little.
No, actually, it's not because I never use. I don't.
That said, though, I still think they all need it, right? Because it's just one of those bullet items that kind of needs to be on. As a comparison, because when it's not there, people say, "Oh, see, that's why I bought an iPhone."
Is Skype available for it?
No, but it will be.
That's the thing.
They talk about
It's going to be great for Skype, which should be in Microsoft's possession sometimes.
And they talk about how supposedly this will be the greatest, Skype mobile client will be the one on Windows Phone. And
yeah, because after all,
everything's going to be better in the future, Leo.
Everything is. So I'm wondering why there's not. I mean, when are we going to see the Nokia?
Yeah, this fall.
That's the one I want.
This fall. Well, not the Nokia. Remember, there's going to be several Nokias.
Several, but I want to see an N9 based.
I do too. That's the one I want so far. Unless something changes. Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful. I spend a considerable amount of time. This is stupid. People who love technology do stuff like this. Like, I'll spend an hour and a half on the Nokia site, looking at N9 videos and looking at this phone and thinking, maybe I'll buy this from one of those retailers that sells European phones in the United States. This is got to be the worst technological dead end in history, and I'm seriously considering it because the phone is so beautiful.
You want the N8? No, you want the N9, Nokia N9, the Symbian version. Now just wait. Because actually, though, if you got the Symbian, go ahead.
Remember those pink, yellow phones from Fujitsu? They go on sale in Japan tomorrow too, in case you want a pink or a yellow phone.
I think I could see Paul with a pink phone.
I do want a pink phone.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's really his.
I brought a pink backpack.
I could see you with a pink carnation.
A Hello Kitty wallet.
No, I think that the other reason to get an N9, if you can get one, is because you probably could rejigger the firmware and put.
So, by the way, if you, I'm not going to be able to give you the right address because this is off the top of my head, but Nokia has a mapping site that is something like Avi. If you haven't seen this, look at this because they have this incredible display where you can zoom in over a city at kind of a 45-degree angle looking down at it. And I did it around Boston just because I'm familiar with it. And it is one of the most spectacular technology displays I've ever seen. And when they talk about using this Nokia mapping technology in Windows Phone, you can see why they want it because it is so absolutely incredible.
This is maps.nokia.com. And
do a little zoom in.
Let's go to the 3D map. Let's go to the 3D
It's spectacular.
map.
It does require some kind of a plug-in, so you may have to install something.
Yeah, install the Nokia Maps plugin to see the world in 3D.
No, but do it.
It's kind of sad that you actually have to install a plugin to see the world in 3D. You shouldn't have to do that.
The future isn't free, Leo.
At least there's no glasses, right? All right, so I'm going to install that plugin. It's a Chrome plugin in this case because I'm using Chrome.
This was so impressive. I actually called people in to look at it when I first saw it. I couldn't believe how good that this looked.
Really?
Yeah. And because you've seen the Microsoft and Google have these views as you get close. They're kind of
Microsoft has that tilt view. Actually, somebody called me on the radio show and said I can't get a screenshot of that tilt view, and I had to point out that really the flat view and the tilt view are the same image. They're just distorting.
All right, but look how Nokia does this. It's
not quite the same, huh?
No, this is really impressive.
Install Nokia browser plugin. All right, let's see here.
I believe they actually have nanobots flying around every city so that you can see live views. It just looks impressive.
All right, I'm going to press the 3D button now.
So go down to San Francisco.
So this is kind of like Google Maps.
Well, okay.
I should really go to Finland, but we'll go to San Francisco.
No, go someplace we'll recognize.
Somewhere where we know. Hey, they've turned the Earth on its side.
This is the Earth as seen from Finland.
All right, let's choose Hollywood. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we take you
slowly,
very, very slowly. Maybe I did. Maybe I wasn't firm enough in my click.
Oh, there you go. I don't know why this company's failing.
Should I zoom in? Maybe I need to zoom in.
No. Hold on. Go back. You got to go back.
I just choose a city. It says Sydney, New South Wales. How about there we go. Now we're going.
This is impressive.
Okay, here we go. Wow, this is exciting, isn't it? Okay.
Oh.
Well, this is like what Google does if you've made 3D models, but these are actually much nicer. This looks like a game.
I know.
This is like Call of Duty. Do you wish you had a big gun?
I would like to fly through the city and, hunt terrorists and
this
stuff.
Is pretty spectacular.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Holy cow.
I know. This is not texture maps.
These are pictures.
Yeah. They're really impressive.
Holy moly! Can I change the angle? I guess I can.
You can do all kinds of things.
Look at that.
Yep.
Wow.
I mean, you have to admit, this is truly spectacular.
Won me over.
Yeah.
Let's choose another city.
Yeah, go to San Francisco.
Yeah, now I want to. See if it works this time. Okay, choose a city. San Francisco. Is it on here?
It's the top one on the left, isn't it?
Oh, it's not alphabetical. That's a little confusing. All right. They knew that I...
They're in order of impressiveness.
Whoa. Hey, there's Lombard Street. I've been there. This actually is exactly what San Francisco looks like.
I was there as recently as yesterday.
Kind of ticky-tacky. Wow. Oop, there's a big building. That's where my dentist is. Okay. This is nicely done.
Can you zoom out? Is there a...
Yeah. Sure. I can do anything you want. Wow. You're right. This is...
it's pretty impressive.
Pretty nice.
It's filling in like an old PS1 game, but...
Well, this is what it looks like, frankly, when you fly over the city, because these are aerial. I mean, these look photographic.
Yep.
Wow. Let's see if I can find my old apartment. Wow.
Embarcadero.
I remember watching them put the top on the ferry building after the earthquake. I was up on the hill here. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. This is good. But I guess we should probably move on.
Sure.
Wow. That's Avi. That's maps.nokia.com.
Yeah, it really is impressive.
Now, do they do that on the phone, though?
No, of course not. But
that would be
but eventually, and probably very soon, they will, right?
Yeah.
You have to think that's where it's going.
Wow, that's like Google Maps times 10.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So I wanted to throw out one last Mango topic. I'm curious what Mary Jo thinks about this theory, which is if you read their blog posts about Windows Phone 7.5, they never call it that, even though that's its name. They always say Mango. It's Mango, 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 Mango. And my theory is they have confused things so much with the 7.5, 7.1 stuff because they're marketing it as Windows Phone 7.5, but internally and to developers it's version 7.1. I think they are just calling it Mango to get rid of that confusion, to make them look...
It's clear right now, but at some point they're going to have to break down and call it Windows 7.1. Aren't they?
7.5, yeah. I think so.
What do you think, Mary Jo? Why are they calling it Mango? You're the queen of code names.
I know. Yeah. Well, because the code name is so much cooler than the real name, for one, right?
Did they ever
we're already talking about Tango, Mango, Tango, you know?
Speaking of which, we should discuss Tango briefly, too, before we move on.
Yep.
Did they ever call Donut anything but Donut?
You mean on the Android side?
No dough, whatever it was?
No dough. No, because that was just a build number.
Right.
So, and then there's Apollo. So we know all these code names, and everybody thinks the code names are cool, but who wants to call it like Windows Phone 7.5?
Not me.
You know?
Not me.
Lame.
No.
So is it you?
Tango,
I saw you had a new post.
Yeah. So Tango got another mention this week supposedly at an MSDN seminar in Hong Kong where somebody blabbed and talked quite a bit about Tango, it sounds like, somebody from Microsoft, and said there is going to be 2 Tango releases. It's coming before Mango, and it is, in fact, going to be targeted at lower-cost phones, like I had heard. So it's interesting. They're coming up with the next build already, and it does sound like they're going to try to take it to markets where Mango isn't, especially over in Asia, and try to also get it on phones that are somehow going to be lower cost. And the question is, how are they going to make those phones lower cost? Yep. And is it going to splinter the market in any way?
And I'm over here like this.
Crossing his fingers.
Please. What we need is fragmentation. It works so well for Android.
Tango is not a major update, this says, you say in your article. Tango Mango will be included as one of the updates.
That's a translation from Chinese, so we're not exactly sure what that means.
All your Tango are belong to us.
Yeah. It's funny because Mango Tango is an old Walla beverage. Mm-hmm. So they're going to be pissed. Oh. Yeah. My son loves Mango Tango.
Who wouldn't?
Uh-oh.
It's great. It's mango and orange juice mixture. It's kind of a smoothie. Have you ever had a Mango Tango?
No. I find Mango to be a bit sweet.
It is. Tango is primarily for developing countries, it says. China, India, other markets.
It sounds like, I mean, aside from that push, as far as people here in the United States, it looks like this thing will sort of be like a no-do kind of thing for Mango, in the sense that it's an interim update. Everyone will get it. It may or may not expose any new functionality that we care about. We just don't know enough about it yet. So from the standpoint of us here, it's probably not going to be a big deal.
But Mary Jo, you say that there are actually two Tangos.
Yeah, so I keep hearing there's Tango 1 and Tango 2, just to make things even more confusing. Tango 1 is supposedly the first update, and it's going to just be more targeted at getting it out to more markets. But Tango 2 is the one where it actually starts showing up on some still unannounced and maybe even undeveloped lower-cost phones.
Interesting.
Nokia, maybe?
Yeah, that's my bet.
Yeah,
Nokia.
That's what it sounds like. So more language support, perhaps, and locale support in the first one, and then whatever. It's hard to say what they mean.
Whatever it is in the second one.
Well, just less, yeah.
There was an
less
original
need
plan for Windows Phone for them to have two handset types, and that went by the wayside. And maybe this is a return to that. You know, Nokia does make a lot of the candy bar style phones. I wonder if there's any market for what is essentially a much smaller screen Windows Phone device.
Right.
For the little people.
But then the question comes up, like, you know, so they splinter the market if they do that, right? Lower resolution.
Yeah, exactly.
What happens?
Well,
Well, it's kind of like the Zune, though. I mean, there was a smaller Zune.
yeah. But what if it was the same screen aspect ratio, but just in a candy bar style phone, where the buttons would be smaller? The pixel density
would there be
higher.
physical buttons?
No. Well, there would still be the 3 physical buttons, that are required.
Yeah, but not the dial pad.
But
That
maybe
would all
it's
be
a
soft.
thinner, smaller device. You know, it's possible.
Maybe it's the missing chassis 2. Remember that whole chassis 1, 2, and 3 thing?
Yep.
Maybe.
Kind of an acquisition for the company that Microsoft's about to acquire. Yep. Talk about that in just a second. But first, I want to talk about Squarespace, the secret behind exceptional websites like inside.twit.tv, among others. Squarespace is hosting one of the best web hosts out there, plus software. The special Squarespace software. That's their secret sauce. It's kind of amazing. I mean, the thing about Squarespace is you're getting very robust hosting. And then on top of it, absolutely fantastic content management system. It's always up to date. You don't have to worry about security because they keep it secure all the time. You don't have to worry about getting those updates applied. And if you forget, as you do on some platforms, if you forget, you're going to be hacked. Not so here. They've got a great iPhone app, iPad app, lets you post live, manage your comments, manage your stats. I just think they've done such a nice job here. And, of course, the design on this is fantastic. You get 60-plus designer templates, and you don't have to be a JavaScript or a CSS. You don't have to be a webOS developer to get this. You could just point and click your way through it. Sliders, column widths, everything, which means every Squarespace site, because it's so completely customizable, every site looks different. Of course, if you do CSS, if you do JavaScript, it's absolutely allowed, and you can do, and the sky's the limit, really. Here's the deal, and this is the best trial offer in the industry. Go to squarespace.com, click that big green try it free button, and you don't need a credit card or anything. You'll get full access to Squarespace for 2 weeks. All you need to do is name your site, give it a password, and give them your email address if you forget the password. You're set. You're doing the thing, the full Squarespace thing. Import all your content from the big 4 blog APIs, Movable Type, WordPress, TypePad, and Blogger. Import and export. Did I mention that? You can get out any time. So you've never lost anything. If you decide you want the trial site for a couple of weeks, you make a bunch of posts, and then you decide, I don't want it, just export it back out, and you're good to go. For photo galleries, forms, forums, and more, Squarespace. Try it free for 14 days. Click that big green try it free button, and if you decide to buy, it's as little as $12 a month, and you can get an additional 10% off for the first 6 months by using the offer code Windows8.
I like it.
Windows and the number 8. I do too. Squarespace.com. The secret behind exceptional websites. Perhaps someday yours. So now the Skype acquisition hasn't gone through yet, right? I mean,
No.
Microsoft doesn't own them yet.
Not yet.
It seems odd, though, that if a company has been sold...
I actually spent time looking for some precedent on this one. Is there any precedent just in the high-tech industry, or elsewhere, I suppose, too, where some company that is the subject of a major acquisition, during the time period where they're waiting for regulatory approval, then goes and purchases another company themselves.
Do you think Steve Ballmer called them and said, hey, could you buy this for us? But why would he do that?
My theory is because if Microsoft had bought them and then the Skype purchase didn't go through, it would have been pointless.
Got it. So they we're talking about GroupMe, which is a group messaging platform like Facebook has Facebook Messenger, BlackBerry has BlackBerry Messenger, there's Beluga, there's a million of these.
Maybe this is like Skype's dowry. You know, we'll
give you GroupMe.
You know?
Well, one interesting thing about the GroupMe guys, because I met them recently in New York because they were at a Microsoft event. They're a BizSpark partner. So okay. BizSpark is this program where Microsoft tries to help foster new and up-and-coming companies. They give them a bunch of software and consulting.
Oh, that's interesting. So they have a relationship with Microsoft.
Yeah. So what GroupMe does that's a little different is they have things they call disposable groups. So you can like set up little private chat rooms. And
right.
say you want to just plan some event. You can set up a temporary chat room, plan it, and then get rid of it.
Which is great.
It is.
It works on Windows Phone 7. That's important.
You know, saying that GroupMe has a relationship with Microsoft is like saying that my wallet has a relationship with my butt.
They're that close,
like it's in my pocket.
What I like is it's iPhone, Android, BlackBerry, Windows Phone 7. It replaces text messaging, which is carriers don't like that, but boy, it's great for users.
I look at this as universal chat in a way.
That's what it is.
Their iMessage, their BlackBerry messaging service.
See, I think I kind of disagree with you. Even if Microsoft did not complete the acquisition, this would be something that would be a useful thing for them to have on Windows Phone 7 for sure.
But one thing I'm curious what Paul thinks on this too is Microsoft just announced, like literally days before this acquisition, that they had created this app called Bing. We're in. Have you seen that app?
Yeah,
Paul?
I've not seen it. I've heard of it. Yeah.
Bing,
yeah.
We're in.
Yeah.
We're in, and to me, it sounds like GroupMe, kind of.
Well, okay. So the one thing about GroupMe that's interesting to me is that it is more like Facebook in that it's on many, many platforms.
It's everywhere.
And less like, say, Apple stuff or BlackBerry stuff, because those things are obviously uniplatform. Unlike,
and by the way, this is what consumers want.
Absolutely. But you get this native app on iPhone, iPad, Android, Windows Phone, which is kind of interesting, right? They were very early in Windows Phone, which I think shows you that Microsoft relationship.
Yeah.
So the Bing We're In, is that an app or a service?
So it looks like you can start parties with it, is what it's for.
I think it's an app.
Is it a native app?
It's an app you can download for Windows Phone only, I believe, so far.
Okay. I mean, so that's part of the problem right there, because nobody has Windows
Right.
phones.
And so, but even if they did, all your friends aren't going to all have Windows phones. And that's why GroupMe or Beluga or any
Actually,
of these
all of my
solutions.
friends do have Windows phones, but I see what you're saying generally.
Really?
No.
No. Really, Paul?
Even my wife
It
doesn't
was
have a
just, it
Windows
was
phone.
more the timing. It was the timing that said to me, kind of like, okay, left hand of Microsoft, do you know what right hand of Microsoft, or not even yet right hand of Microsoft is doing?
Right.
One of those things. But
So the who's in or we're in is really almost like creating a group, like a party, like a flash mob or a party. You say, and we're going to have this thing. Let's meet.
I think they're responsible for the BART disruptions.
That's right. This is Anonymous created this.
it was a bad week to launch that app, actually, given what was going on with
all press is good press, Mary Jo.
So this is like, but it's like Evites or something like that for the phone. Yeah. But you're right; it has to be cross-platform because you're not going to have a invite system that only your Windows Mobile friends can participate in.
The issue here today is that obviously Facebook is a big deal. It seems like Google Plus is becoming a big deal. Does anyone really expect to see a Google Plus native client on Windows Phone anytime soon? Probably not, right? So this is another one of those great cross-platform solutions, and I think that's why GroupMe was particularly interesting.
Makes sense. Yeah, makes sense. But I don't understand. I'm sure there's all sorts of little thorny things like, well, where's the 50 million or whatever it is come from?
Well, it's all going into Microsoft's wallet in the end. So it's probably coming from there.
It's probably Microsoft buying it.
Hey, when you're talking about $8.5 billion, what's $50 million between friends?
12.5.
Yeah, is it 12.5?
12.5. Oh no, for Skype. I'm thinking of something else.
I think Skype's 8.5.
Billion here, billion there. Pretty soon it starts to head up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Windows 8 is going to support USB 3. I was really glad to see this.
I was on the edge of my seat wondering if this was
No, come on. It's got to. It's got to.
Of course it does. The joke here for me was simply that we were joking on Twitter with a group of us about different things. You know, 'cause Steven Sinopsky's starting to blog about Windows 8, and he's really not saying much of anything. And, you know, I had written a fake headline that was like, you know, exclusive, Windows 8 will support networking, you know. And, you know, this is sort of like that. Like, of course it will.
Of course it's got to.
But, you know, he goes into incredible detail about...
Now, if they said they were going to support Light Peak...
Yes.
That would be a story.
But that's something they're not going to say now, even if it's true, because we're in that kind of quiet period before build. So what they're discussing by and large are things that are like, okay, well...
Yeah, we'll support Windows USB. We'll support... Yeah.
Although, since we did these notes, he revealed some interesting file copy type improvements, which are actually pretty cool. I think you as a Mac user will not be too blown away by this, but they're improving the way that Windows handles what is a very basic but important task, you know, copying files, for example. And today in Windows, if you were to instigate, say, 3 or 4 file copies, each of those things would have its own dialogue. And now in this new version...
Oh, that's frustrating, yeah.
You'll be able to pause and resume and stop and do all that stuff. You'll be able to get incredibly detailed views of how the file transfer is
going. You know, how long have they been doing file management in Windows? It's, you know, it seems
well, but this is that reimagining Windows thing where they look at every single little bit of Windows and they're trying to fix every little kind of thing. And this is an area that, frankly, they haven't looked at in a while.
Right.
You know?
The craziest thing, though, about all these posts, there have been 5 building Windows 8 blog posts so far. And something like the file copy one, there's like hundreds of comments on that blog post. Hundreds. And people are really hashing it out in the comments like, I wish they would change the button from the corner to this other corner. And I hope they're listening to me.
That's what you want.
Well, people, this shows, I think, the built up, I don't want to call it frustration, but maybe excitement, you know, the pent up feelings that people have for this stuff. I mean, you know, we can talk post-PC era all you want, but, you know, Microsoft starts talking about the most innocuous details of the next version of Windows, and it's like this eruption of emotion over file copy, you know.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair...
The one downside, though, I think, is a lot of the people who are in there in the comments actually think what they're suggesting has a chance.
I think Paul said that too. It's you know,
there's no chance, guys.
Sorry, I get a lot of email. People will say, Paul, I know you have the ear of Microsoft, as if, you know, I have a regular conference call with the powers that be at Microsoft. And, you know, could you tell them, please, to make sure Windows 8 has this feature? And, yeah, I could do that, I guess. But, you know, we're like I've said so many times, we're going to show up a build, and they're going to hand us a feature complete something, a developer preview. And we will certainly be able to talk about bugs. And I'm sure based on feedback, a la Windows 7, there will be minor changes, you know, because anytime you get a considerable number of people to hammer away at something, all of a sudden, something that seems like maybe it should have been obvious does become obvious. But there are not going to be any major new features of Windows that come out of that. It's just not really the way this thing gets developed. You know, Windows is a big program.
Right. But they will have a Twitter client, says Mary Jo Foley. Tweet at Rama?
Yeah.
Is that really?
Tweetorama?
Tweetorama.
Tweet. Oh, I get it. Tweetorama.
Yeah. But, you know, I've got a lot of questions about this thing. So they actually showed this for a brief moment when they did the Windows 8 unveiling in June. But now I'm like, okay, is this an app? Is it built into the OS? Is it a Windows Live service? What is this thing?
So, by the way, if I'm understanding what you're saying in the notes, they're actually using this.
They're using it. They're tweeting from it.
So is that building Windows 8 tweet said tweet at Rama was
having transcribed the D9 stuff. I can tell you that at one point somebody made them stop and go back and say, "What is that thing?" And they just said, "Oh, that's just one of the demo apps we created." You know, they tried to downplay that it was anything. In fact, they acted like it was just a bit of demoware, that it was just something they had done for the demo. But you're saying,
look at that. Look at that
right there. It says tweet at Rama. Yeah. Or tweet at Rama.
Tweet at Rama.
I'm sorry, I'm going to say tweet at Rama. But there was a guy named...
Kind of like rendezvous out.
He's a guy named Rama on Twitter who has protected tweets.
Who's getting email now all the time. Like, would you
really
stop emailing me?
He's really not happy, I got to tell you.
Exactly.
I don't know if he protected his tweets after your story or before, but...
And I wondered, maybe it's like, in Windows Phone Mango, they've integrated Twitter into the People Hub. So I'm like, maybe there's a People Hub in Windows 8, and maybe this is
Microsoft will not appreciate that kind of speculation, Mary Jo. But I think if you looked at those types of integrated experiences on Windows Phone, you have to think that is a model for what they're going to do on Windows 8. It has to be.
Yep. It has to be. I agree.
Yep. That said,
well, after all, that's what Apple did with iOS. They put Twitter in, and I bet you Twitter's fairly aggressive about pursuing deals of exactly that kind.
Well, except that the Twitter integration in iOS is, in many ways, a different kind of integration because you have that integration, but then you still have that notion of installing the apps, which is also built into the OS, which is a little strange.
It's a little weird.
Not to get off on a...
Here's this poor Tweet Rama.
He looks like a nice gentleman.
He's got 218
million followers.
97 followers now, but stand back because a lot of people can be.
And then he'll write a book about how he turned Twitter into the financial success story of the 21st century.
No, Microsoft will have to hire him, right? Because they'll have to pay him off or hire him. So, sorry, Rama.
Sorry, Rama. By the way, tweet at Rama.
Yeah.
When you write that on the web or something like that, and then you click it,
it turns into a hyperlink.
It thinks it's going to send. You're going to send an email to somebody named tweet at Rama. So another reason not to do
which is weird because Microsoft usually gets naming right.
Yeah, that's a bad one. It's not good. Oh well, not
they
good.
do. No.
After 9 years on this earth, my daughter has finally figured out that everything I say is sarcastic.
Yeah.
So you learn to parse.
If Paul says something, it's the opposite.
Exactly.
Let's see. Let's do you want to do a listener Q&A segment? Sure. We could do that, and then we have a little time, and then we'll take a break and come back with your tips and picks of the week. Let me open up the magic chat room and see what people are saying.
Could I ask the chat room? I actually would love to hear from the chat room if people are having trouble with Mango.
Oh, Mary Jo, I'm sorry. That's not how the Q&A works.
But you could ask them. No, I like that. She's going to ask them a question for a change.
Maybe you've never done a Q&A before, but actually.
Yeah, the way we mean it.
Because I didn't want them to be like tongue-tied or tweet-tied. I wanted them to start thinking about Mango because here's why I'm asking. So, Brandon Watson's out there giving celebrities and people on the internet Windows phones preloaded with Mango. And he gave one to Molly Wood at CNET. And
that one I felt, by the way, that one I felt was wrong-headed.
To give it to her?
Yes.
Because you knew she would be...
I'm sorry, you have found a tech reviewer, blogger, whatever she is, that's never used Windows Phone, and now you're going to let her, the one who has never even used one, now she's going to review this thing. Really?
Right.
I think that's a huge mistake.
Wait, she's not reviewing it, though. She's like being an everyday person.
Like Dilbert, like they did with Scott
Dilbert,
Adams.
I think, was smart because he is a celebrity, and especially in our world, has serious geek cred. And I think that makes sense.
She does too. Molly has pretty good geek cred, but that said, she has said her HTC 7 running Mango kept auto restarting by itself constantly, and I'm curious if other people are seeing that because I'm not.
Right. That was her issue.
Yep.
I think the problem, you give it to Molly, who's really great. I love Molly. We tried to hire her. But she's famous for ranting.
Well, that's
you got to give, you give somebody something who does, it's like giving Andy Rooney anything and saying, hey, Andy, tell us how much you love it.
Sure.
I'll tell you what's wrong with this device.
He would bring out your phone back there and he would say,
what's wrong with
this works.
This works. I dial this phone. So, of course, she, in the long run, she said it was okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, focus, everybody. Let's. Are you having any trouble with your Mangos?
For the record, I've never had experience with Windows Phone rebooting constantly or anything like that. So I can tell you.
My Android, I've had a real problem with my Android G2X rebooting until I put another ROM on it. The stock ROM on the T-Mobile G2X, it would reboot several times a day.
Interesting.
So I have had that problem. That's not an unusual problem with Android, to be honest. Mango needs a better notification system. A few quirks playing audio.
By the way, I will say, as far as notifications go, I like what Apple finally did in iOS 5 with notifications, with that slide down drawer, which is very Android-esque. That's a good but that's a good way to do notifications.
That's the solution, I think.
Yeah.
It's out of the way, but you can get more detail. You pull it down.
Yeah.
Apple's doing them one better by making it live notifications,
Yes.
so stocks and weather will be in there. It's going to be more functional.
Yeah.
But I've always loved the Android notification system.
Yeah, it's the one thing I think they did really well.
Yeah.
And
How does I'm trying to remember
they have
how
different
Windows
little
Phone
things.
does
They
it.
have what they call it's like that slice of toast that comes up with it. If you, for example, right now hit the down volume button,
Okay.
and you'll see an example of what that looks like on the other side.
Oops, I turned it off. This is if you have too many phones, trouble ensues. So you're saying hit the down volume.
We'll just give you an idea of what the UI sort of looks like. It's not a notification UI, but it does give you that slice of toast, as they call it, that comes over the screen. You see?
Now, this isn't Mango. This is
No, it doesn't matter. Just hit the down arrow
Okay.
of any volume.
Well, there's the slide. This thing.
I think it's okay. Where's it?
Is that it?
I don't see it.
It's just right at the top of the screen.
Well, I can't see the top of the screen, Leo. You should.
Right
I can see
there.
it.
Yeah, I don't know why Paul can't see it. So that's a notification.
It's an example of that type of display you'll get on a notification, whether it's
Right.
an alarm or a calendar.
It slides
event.
down. But now because as an Android user, what I want to do is pull that down more, and you can't.
no.
There's no more to.
It
That's
literally-
where they did the right thing on
It's,
Android.
it's not completely modal, but it does cover the screen, and it gives you an opportunity to put it off or.
I think
get
it's
rid
an
of it.
elegant. Look, anything like that is an elegant way to.
Yeah, it's
to
the right.
let you
It's
know.
the right way to do it.
Yeah.
I think that we're still learning how these things work in some ways, and that these things will become obvious over time.
Yeah.
And I think the Android iOS 5 notification system is just the right way.
Right. Toast for Messages does deep linking, but not for third-party apps. So if you're using the text messages, see, nobody text messages me on this phone, so I've never seen never seen that happen. I keep playing that.
Yeah, you get those for text messages.
Right.
Calendar events give you a big piece of toast that covers 2/3 of the screen, I think.
Just looking at our chat room to see if we have any questions. That one fellow, I missed his name, said, "What's the future of Connect? We're going to see it on the desktop."
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. Sure. I mean, Microsoft is all in with this natural UI stuff. It stands to reason. They already have it working on Windows, that Windows 8 should have native support for Connect. And probably in a... Did my son get his hair cut?
Wow, he just went next door and got his
They
haircut.
like leave and they get a haircut? Come
Yeah,
here for a
well,
second.
we actually have a barber in the back. Maybe you didn't know
He doesn't want to come and ask me. He promised me that he would embarrass me today while I was on the show, and now I will embarrass him.
Hey, did you get your hair cut?
Did he get his haircut?
That's great. Let's see. Duck down a little bit so we can see the hair. Duck down just a little bit. See, your head's cut off right there. Oh, very pretty. Very lovely.
Very aerodynamic.
Yeah. I actually was thinking of shaving my head. What do you think?
I think you should.
Yeah, I was going to be Mr. Clean for Halloween. No? No? Your daughter says no. She really actually quite adamantly says no. She says, that would scare me, she says. Yeah, she agrees. I think I got the Diet Coke to come out of her nose, as a matter of fact.
Okay. Sorry about that.
And by the way, go Red Sox. Yeah.
All right, you guys got to get out of here now.
No, you can sit down. You can sit down. No, don't throw them out. Did you get something, a nice, Pepsi. Sorry. Pepsi, not Coke. No Coke, Pepsi. Okay. Diet Pepsi. That's right. The chat room knew. They knew exactly what you were drinking.
They're paying way too much attention.
They clearly are. What is beyond Windows 8, asked D.G. Murdoch III.
Well, as we know, Windows 8 is the last version of Windows.
Ever. It might be the last desktop application kind of a version of Windows.
I don't know.
It might go cloudy.
This is like, I was joking with a friend that I often book my next vacation while I'm on vacation. That's what this question is.
Right.
Let's stay focused.
Let's stay focused, folks. Please, let's pay attention. Boy, look how good. This is the Dmitry Lealin's app for playing back TWiT stuff. It just looks fantastic. Wow. That was a great show. Look how good that looks. All right, stop.
The power of Windows
It's
Phone.
kind of like planning your vacation while you're on vacation, looking at one of your other shows while you're doing this show.
I know we're recording a show now, but God, this show is so much more interesting.
Web 1972 says Windows 8 drops DOS support. But they're adding USB, so it's a push.
USB 3, Leo.
That's
3.
what matters.
Yeah, it's a push. Right. Yeah, very important to say USB 3.
Thank you.
Yes. Finally, USB on Windows. You know, as usual, this going to the chat room thing just doesn't.
I know, it's like the sound of wind blowing.
Crickets. Does Mango keep wireless networks connection when the SSID is not being broadcast? Is that apparently a problem in the current?
Actually, that's an interesting question. So supposedly Mango supports hidden SSDs, SIDs, but I just saw that not work, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's the
So that
case
was something that did not work in the.
It was not there in
Noto.
the first version. Well,
Right.
the initial version.
All right, that's good.
It's supposed to be in Mango.
That was a good question. Verizon Mango phones. We're going to see any, Mary Jo? You know?
Oh, man. I hope so.
Yeah.
Not
You know, the
optimistic
latest rumor
after
is
my
that the iPhone will come out in Sprint now this time.
Yeah.
So all three carriers for the iPhone. But Windows Phone 7 is on all three carriers. Is
Yes,
it
it
not?
is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's
Actually,
only one phone on Verizon right now, the Trophy.
Yep.
How is the Trophy?
Actually, it's great.
It's good.
Yeah. Is that the one you have? That's what you have, right?
Yep, that's what I have.
I hear good things about it, yeah.
It's interesting to me because it looks big and bulky in pictures, but then you see it in person and it's surprisingly thin and small. It's nice.
Is encryption enabled on Windows Phone 7? Asked Jimmy. With
No,
Mango.
so one of the missing group policies in Mango still is device encryption and encryption for removable storage. So it's still not available.
This is important for enterprise.
It's not there. So it is possible within a Windows Phone app to do encryption of data, and of course there's sandboxing on Windows Phone, but there is no, device universal encryption either for the storage on board or the removable storage.
And most importantly, what free hardware can we expect at Build?
That's the question everyone cares the most about.
I don't think Mary Jo and I are going to be getting anything for
Google
free,
just blew the lid off it at Google I/O. They gave people the Samsung Galaxy Tab. They gave people a Chromebook.
Yep.
And they gave people a 4G card.
I told you they were
Verizon.
dumping their products in the market.
They really are.
Yeah, it would be nice if everybody get a gift pack of like a Windows 8 Touch PC
a tablet
and a Windows Mango phone and a Connect. Right?
But Build is too early for that. Maybe next time, because they don't have Windows 8 stuff out, do they? Will they?
Well, they need to give developers something because what are they going to run the bits on, right? If you want to showcase how it's a touch-centric operating system, especially for tablets, so what are you going to put it on?
I do expect a hardware giveelay. I really do.
Do you think
Might be a touchpad.
Yeah.
Oh, an HP touchpad running Windows Phone 7.
Yeah.
It'll just have a Velcro or some kind of tape over the name.
We got them really cheap.
A Windows 8 sticker.
We got them really cheap. And what is the link for the blogger party so we can have the blogger bash?
It's buildbloggerbash.com.
Build
It
blogger
is.
bash.
How many people? Do you remember how many people, or do you know how many people have RSVP'd?
Yeah. We're already way over our capacity. So if you are coming to this party, get there early to get in.
Here, I think I can come.
So
up.
what you're going to be is you'll be in a position where at some point they're going to just say no more people can go in.
Yes.
Yeah,
they
we
are
have
going to.
254 RSVPs.
And how many people can come in?
54.
Okay.
By the way, 29 of them are Microsoft.com addresses.
Wow. Is that true?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Let's list their names.
No. 83 people like this, by the way. I'm going to like it right now. I tell you, I'm going to plus it.
You're going to plus it, like
I'm
it.
going to plus it, like it.
Did you see the
It's still the only thing that we know of on the schedule for Windows.
That's funny.
It's still the only
It's
thing
still
on the
the
agenda.
only thing on the agenda. In fact, come to Build Conference and go to the Blogger Bash. That's really it. That's the main.
That's it.
That's why
the reason that Google Wave failed was because the web buttons would then say WTF, for Wave, Twitter, and Facebook.
Ooh, that's not good. That is not good. All right. Very, very cool. Thank you. That concludes this portion of What the Hell's the Chat Room Thinking?
This concludes this portion of This Is Why We Never Go to the Chat Room.
They came up with some good ones at the last. Let us take a break. When we come back, your tip of the week, your software of the week, and Mary Jo's got a code name of the week, and and I hesitate to say it, our enterprise pick of the week is coming up any minute now. I'm glad she maintains unflagging enthusiasm for enterprise computing. But first, unapologetic as always.
Someone has to.
Well, there's I'm in an enterprise. We all enterprises are important. It's what keeps.
So many. Tell me. I hope this isn't stepping into the wrong area, but so many people at Microsoft probably look at Mary Jo Foley and have kind of an antagonistic view to her.
Well, who wouldn't?
But
she's the devil.
That's why. But it's like that scene in The Exorcist where the face flashes really quick. So, but see, she loves this stuff.
She loves this stuff.
See?
I do.
Hopefully, they will grow to appreciate that.
Are you really, Mary Jo? Is that true that people at Microsoft are not fond of you?
Certain teams like me more than others. Let's just leave it at that.
Because you reveal their secrets?
Yeah, I ride their shuttle buses. I eat their burgers.
Oh, see, she's a real reporter.
Yikes. Thanks for looking at me when you said that.
She goes to Redmond and digs. She doesn't take briefings. She goes into the cafes and sits there with her ears like this going, what are you saying? What are they saying? Do you really do
That's
that?
why I love
Do you
that
snoop?
map.
Yeah.
I've to do one or two illicit, weird things.
I like it. That's why we like Mary Jo. But it's also why we like Audible.com. There's a segue that doesn't work.
A forever, though.
Hey, I tried. Audible.com is the place to get incredible audiobooks. I'm sure you stocked up, Paul, before you hit the road.
I did.
For your road trip, your vacation. Does Daddy always have his headphones on listening to Audible.com? Yeah, they say yeah. All the time. Really?
Sometimes I just put on headphones so I don't have to talk to them.
I went to Egypt with a guy. Actually, he's now a great friend, Stephen Levine of Levenger's. Mm-hmm. And much of the time as we were touring around Egypt, he had headphones on. And for a long time, I thought he was listening to the tour guide. He's actually listening to books about Egypt as he was walking around Egypt, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's like going around Paris listening to A Movable Feast. It kind of gives you some cultural history. Audible books are...
Well, actually, then you'll appreciate what I've been reading.
What have you been reading?
So, I just discovered that a bunch of classic Apple history books have occurred or been republished, including in Audible versions.
Oh.
So, literally the classic of this whole genre is called The Return to the Little Kingdom.
I don't know this.
Well, this is the original. So, if you've read any book about the history of Apple... they have leaned very heavily on this book because this guy, Michael Moritz, had inside access to the company for a story that was going to be published in a major print magazine. But when Apple caught wind of it and all of the awful details that this guy was going to share with the world, they shut down the article. So he decided to turn it into a book. And it is an absolutely fascinating story. I mean, of course, but well written and well done. And I want to say it was re-released about 2 years ago, and he wrote an afterword where he discussed the more modern era.
They say completely revised and expanded.
Yeah, this is the classic of this genre. The other one is The Second Coming of Steve Jobs, which covers his post-Apple career as well. And obviously there have been a lot of books of that era as well, but I think this is my personal favorite. There. But if you want, it's interesting. We drove down, I took the family down, we visited the Google campus. We went
That's fun, isn't it?
The Apple campus and all this stuff.
A lot of our visitors have done that. They've done the kind of the geek pilgrimage, They go to the Apple store, they pick up stuff.
Yeah, so I can't do the full meal deal.
Stand in front of the Google sign.
How much time can I take away from their vacation before somebody,
strangles you?
But I'm interested in this time, and you drive around, and the descriptions of Cupertino in particular, it's exactly the same. There's still a Sizzler there, and the Shell gas station is still there, and all those.
It is kind of. It's not ancient history, frankly.
Well,
so it's
but
kind of interesting.
It feels like it.
It feels like it. But I was working in Silicon Valley in radio in 77, 78, 79, 80, all the way through 84. So I was there during a lot of this. Yeah. And there was a vibe. It was exciting. Sure. Kind of like it is in San Francisco now. Or, it's just there was something happening, and you knew it was. And I love these history books. Like you, I love reading these books.
No, this is probably two of the best ones, I would say, right there.
Excellent. Alan Deutschman's The Second Coming of Steve Jobs. Now, here's the deal. You can get one of these for free. And The Return to the Little Kingdom by Michael Moritz.
That's the original. I mean, I would say
this is the one I want to get.
This is the Bible.
I'm going to add this to my my wish list. I have
any book you've read about Apple has leaned very, very heavily on that book.
Yeah. Here's the deal. If you go to audible.com/windows, you can subscribe to the gold account. That's what the one book a month account. It's a subscription. There's a better way to do that. Most affordable way to do that. But the first month is free. The first book is free. And it's yours to keep forever. You cancel at any time, so there's no cost to you. So here's the deal. audible.com/windows. And Paul's recommended a couple of books, but frankly, you should browse around the 75,000 book collection and see if there's something you really can't live without. There's so many great books here. Technology, fiction, history, science fiction. Audible.com/windows. And, of course, it plays on everything, including the new Kindles. You know, on the it shows your books, and it shows your Audible books,
right? And
because it plays on the Kindle, so that's so cool.
By the way, I wonder what happens when you go to apple.com/windows.
You think? Let's try it. I bet you get a Switch ad.
I'm guessing it doesn't resolve to Microsoft.com.
No, that says the page you're looking for can't be found. You know, if they were smart, they'd go to the Switch campaign.
Exactly. The operating system you're looking for cannot be found.
Perhaps this blue screen of death brought to you by. Yeah, they used to have a Switch page. I don't know. Maybe they don't do that anymore because that's an older campaign. All right. Speaking of switching, let's switch gears here and get to our picks of the week and our tips of the week, starting with Paul Thurrott. Your tip.
Okay. I actually have 2 tips and no pick this week.
Okay. 2 tips, no pick? Sounds like a basketball game.
I know. Right. So this first one came in the last second from Russell E.B. via email, and I'm curious if Mary Jo's ever heard of this. Microsoft has something called a personal data dashboard. It's for Bing, Windows Live, and a bunch of their other services.
That's great.
I believe it's in beta and is not publicly linked in any major way so that you can find this. But if you go and look at this thing, it's actually kind of amazing what they have in there, including your full Bing search data, your interests, which are based on what you've searched for.
Wow.
And then a bunch of other things related to account management and so forth. But you can opt out of this so that they don't collect your information, which is, of course, the reason you want to go check this thing out. So under My Choices there on the left, if there should be, I'm not remember how they...
It's up at the top here.
Oh, I'm at the top, sorry. So see there's a red button there, I guess, or a green button on the left now. Mm-hmm. So I think that's where you can toggle.
Allowed or now I can disallow Microsoft advertising.
Yeah. Huh. So you can actually opt out.
That's great.
Do you think this could be the new Bing toolbar?
I think this,
to that somehow?
Yeah, absolutely. Like this is the back end from that, and now they're going to expose it just on the general web because a lot of people, of course, don't use the toolbar.
Or maybe it's connected even to, the HTML5 version of Bing that we keep hearing is coming one of these centuries.
So I was interested to see, they do it. They categorize your interests based on what you search for. And, of course, you have this deepening sense of dread as you look at this little list. But actually, for me, it was computer sciences and programming, laptops and handheld computers, software, and sports.
And porn. Oh, no.
Oh, and porn, yeah.
No, actually, the funny thing is I've only apparently made 2 searches on Bing in my entire lifetime.
Like most people.
So it's really quite sparse. I did one on October 13th, 2010. I searched for Toyota Prius. And I searched for bovine bakery point race, April 3rd, 2011.
You like cows and cars.
Cows and cars, and that's it. That's the entire Bing search history. That's kind of bizarre. Now, but this is very similar to what Google does with it. In fact, they even call it their dashboard. And I would like to see this become a standard for any.
This is just them being transparent.
Yep.
Although you have to really look to find this thing now. But I think eventually this is going to be more upfront, that this will be a big privacy thing that they do. So it looks great. I mean, it looks like a really good idea. Obviously, it's a work in progress and more is coming. But yeah, it's absolutely the right thing to do.
The base URL for this is choice.live.com, and that's where they pull you give you a chance for the ad choices, choice.live.com. So that's an easy thing to remember anyway. At least it's an easy URL to go to. And then you'll see view and manage your online information in the Microsoft Personal Data Dashboard beta link right there. But I think this is great.
Yeah, that's a good one.
This is really good. There's Chi Lu. My friend Chi Lu. So he's Mr. Bing.
Yeah. Now that we lost Kai-Fu Lee to Google.
Well, you got Chi Lu from Yahoo.
Yeah.
So, I think these search guys, they float around a lot.
Sure.
Then you said you had 2 tips.
I did. So the second one is just, this is actually a friend of my wife's, is a photographer. And I have been badgering her for a while. She takes great pictures. I said, you should release these things as themes or, wallpapers or whatever. People love this kind of stuff. So back when Windows 7 had launched, I released a number of themes that were based on photos I had taken of our travels and so forth. So she gave me 3 sets of photos I could publish. I think Flowers, Amusements, and Ocean, I think are the names of them.
I'm going to get the Ocean one. I like pictures of boats.
Yeah, so they're just great photos.
How do I make them?
Right. So on Windows SkyDrive, I think. Let's see. Is there a run option?
Do you want to open or save?
Open. You can just open it.
Okay. Open it, and then we're going to have the. It's fairly big.
Yeah.
Just a word of warning.
Well, because it's
10
megabytes.
megabytes.
It's the downloadable file with I think
which
each
is
of these
great. You're
has
giving
5.
us the full Amusements theme pack. Oh, I see. I'm getting the theme pack. I get it. All right.
So this will actually change your desktop theme when you install it.
Great.
Yeah.
So it's a theme pack. Got it.
I didn't do anything. I didn't add sounds or screensavers. It's just a small coloring of the glass and then the pictures that she supplied.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually don't like it when they change everything.
I don't like.
It's kind of like I've got the sounds I want. I don't want you to mess with the sounds.
Actually,
I just want a desktop.
On my last trip, I noticed. Well, how could I not notice? My laptop would log out, or actually go to the start screen, the welcome screen, every 60 seconds. And unless I did something, if I let it sit there for 60 seconds and it was a theme that had done it.
Oh, no, it shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, so I didn't do anything like that.
All right, so now, this is good.
There you go.
I'm
So
liking it. I got the new theme here.
Yep.
Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. This is Amusements.
Yeah, really nice.
I think it scaled it more.
You can right-click the desktop, right? Choose next. No, go to just go
not
to that.
resolution, personalize, right?
No, stay there. See,
next.
Yeah, and that will let you flip through the photos.
This is great. Yep. See, I'm learning to use Windows right here, right in front of you.
Now, Leo, go down to the start button and click shutdown.
Wait a minute, I've got a new one. Kerry Hawkins' Ocean.
I just want to point out, Leo actually did do that one time on the air. I was explaining to him how to install something, and he's just following along.
I did it.
He clicks shutdown, and then Skype shuts off, and I'm like, what happened there?
I did it. Oh, Paul, you were on the Windows machine. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, now we have separate Windows machines for Skype. So these are beautiful. Kerry Hawkins. That's nice. Is it hard to make a pack like that?
Actually, it's not too hard. It's sort of hidden in the sense that once you get all the photos together and the changes you want to make, actually, I'll show you how to do it. Just right-click, do personalize.
Okay. Oh, this is exciting. Another tip from Paul Thurrott. Right-click, select personalize.
Now, you've got that theme there up at the top. If you right-click the selected theme, it will say something like
save theme for sharing.
Save theme for thering is the
one. Shave theme for thering. Shave your thering for the sheme.
You're not a broadcaster, are you?
The boom, and it will save it right there as a theme, as a .theme pack file, which can then be double-clicked.
That is correct, sir.
Okay, very nice. I'm going to go back to my... This way I know I'm on TWiT. And now, ladies and gentlemen, if I may be so bold, it's time for our enterprise... Are you done?
I'm done.
Our enterprise tip of the week from Mary Jo Foley.
Yes, so this week we're going to talk about Forefront. So I'm waiting for Leo to snore.
No, I'm not yawning. I'm all ears. I'm paying close attention.
Forefront is Microsoft's enterprise security and identity brand. So in early August, a couple weeks ago, we saw Microsoft release Forefront Identity Manager 2012, the beta. And this is going to be a product coming out sometime in the first half of 2012. And what it is a digital identity management product. So it's going to add, with this new release, things like credential management from within a web-based password. You'll be able to do historical reporting, and it'll be integrated to System Center, and you'll get greater support for Microsoft Outlook. A lot of kind of little tweaks that people who are into the Forefront brand and were worrying that Microsoft may do away with it because of some recent reorgs in that group. You don't have anything to worry about. If you like Forefront, Identity Manager 2012 is coming early next year.
It's so interesting because it really is an ecosystem.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. She just talks about this enterprise product, and the first thing that comes out of your mouth is it's interesting.
It's interesting.
Now I talk about an enterprise product.
I go, it's boring. She's cuter than you, Paul. What can I say?
With it, what is Forefront?
All right.
Why is it a little controversial? Because the group has been in turmoil, trying to like,
See,
jazz it up a
schooling you.
little.
I actually have the Forefront client on this very laptop because I get it through Windows Intune.
What I was about to say is it's interesting because Russell Tammany, who's our IT guy, is a big Windows guy. And I know other big Windows guys. And these guys live in this ecosystem. We're Forefront. They do all of this stuff. And for the rest of the world, it's kind of obscure. It's kind of abstruse. It's a specialty, this Windows thing. It's a specialty.
Maybe someday they'll turn it into something.
Maybe they might make it someday.
Yeah.
It's going to be really big, I heard.
I'm excited. And I like your code name pick of the week, Mary.
Yes, I had to pick this as the code name of the week because of today's historical significance. So today's code name is Chicago. And, I thought everybody knew what Chicago was. But then I realized a number of our viewers and listeners were not born when Chicago was.
Oh, my God.
Yikes.
Is that
yes,
right?
I heard that from several people today. So Windows 95 is what used to be named codename Chicago. And this was when Microsoft was kind of on a kick of using a lot of city code names in the same vicinity. So Windows 95 was Chicago. O'Hare was Internet Explorer.
Really? Wow, I didn't know that. Wow.
Detroit was supposed to be Windows 95 OSR2, but never came to pass. And then we had Memphis, which ended up being Windows 98.
Yeah, I remember Memphis.
That is correct.
So
but do you remember, how did this start? Right? Why was it called Chicago in the beginning? Do you remember?
I should remember this. Was it about Brad Silverberg somehow?
I think it was because they had the launch event for Windows 3.1 in Chicago, and it was such a turning point for the company that that was the start of the city code.
Ever since, they've loved Chicago.
I believe so.
Yes.
The city of broad shoulders, the windy city, the hog butcher to the world. Chicago, my kind of town. I think that wraps up what has been just a stellar Windows Weekly because of your presence, Paul, in the studio, nay, 5 feet from me.
I know. I could almost touch you.
I can almost. But don't, please. Mr. Laporte does not like being touched.
I thought I found out differently on Saturday.
You did. And have we revealed those photos? I believe they have been revealed from our party. Should I show those?
I was practically thrown in your lap.
It wasn't your fault. Somebody did it to you. But
I just came over to say goodbye, and then I was assaulted.
They said, Paul, sit in Leo's lap. And you, strangely, oddly enough, you acquiesced. With certain,
I'm not usually, I have
amount
to
of
admit,
alacrity.
I'm not usually tackled. So I was unprepared for this.
I wonder if I can find this this fine picture. Did you post it on Google
No, my
Plus?
friend Joe posted it.
Joe posted it.
Any opportunity to embarrass me is
Oh yeah, there it is.
taken as quickly as possible.
Yeah, there we go. There's me and Paul.
Oh, man.
This was probably later in the evening.
This is about as late in the evening as it got.
Your children are laughing.
Leah, what are you wearing? A smoking jacket?
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you for realizing that. This is like Paul with Hugh Hefner.
As the evening progressed, I went from my tuxedo to something a little more comfortable.
I believe there was a cat in the hat mask at some point. I think you were actually wearing like an aviator's mask at one point.
I was. Actually, you're right.
Wow.
There was a moment in there of that as well.
I think you should make that a theme pack.
Yeah. Embarrassing moments, part 1.
Paul, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming out for our party and
Thank you
for bringing your beautiful family. Really nice to see both of them. All of them. All 3 of them. But both of the children. I've never met your children.
Not so much the wife, but the other 2.
I met your wife before, but I don't think I've ever met your kids.
Yep.
So it's nice to see them. And they're obviously vastly impressed by your television persona.
Actually, my son in particular was very interested in seeing this place.
Good.
Well,
Well,
I don't know. He's impressed by you for some reason.
I hope he's enjoyed his trip around and visiting the studio.
Yes.
Mary Jo, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Mary Jo Foley is all about Microsoft. In fact, that's the name of her blog for ZDNet, allaboutmicrosoft.com, where many of the stories you heard today are repeated in greater detail and with more accuracy. Hopefully. How could they be any less? Thank you, MJ. Good to see you. And Paul Thurrott, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thank
Paul
you.
Thurrott is at the SuperSite for Windows, winsupersite.com. And he also is, of course, the author of Windows 7 Secrets and Windows Phone Secrets, soon to be Windows 8 Secrets. And we thank you for being here. We do this show every now we're doing it Wednesday because we flip-flop with Steve.
Yep. Speaking of which, we never got him in
scheduling.
here. I got to meet Steve Gibson today in person, which
Wasn't that nice?
Yeah.
Yeah. Love Steve.
Steve Gibson in the wild is a rare event.
It is. He doesn't emerge from his fortress of security.
That was nice.
Very often. So Steve will be here this time tomorrow.
Yeah.
Normally we do the show 11 a.m. on Thursdays. It's 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1800 UTC at live.twit.tv.
I see the Merit is out there as well.
The Merititious is there as well.
Are they recording a separate show?
They will be doing TNT a little bit later on. In fact, I'll probably throw it over to Tom in just a second to see what's going to be the big story of the day. And then at 2:30 Pacific, they will show up for TNT right after This Week in Google, which is coming up next. You can, if you miss the show, of course, always get a copy of it. twit.tv/WW for Windows Weekly. Subscribe on iTunes, the Zune Marketplace, or anywhere better podcasts are transferred,
given away for free.
Offered. Not sold.
We're dumping them into the market.
We're trying to corner the market on free podcasts, and then we'll get you. Thanks, Mary Jo. Thank you, Paul Thurrott. Thank you all for being here. We'll see you next time on Windows Weekly.